I thought I had found my forever with Amanda. We had been together for 2 years, building what I believed was a solid foundation for our future. Working as a software engineer had given me stability, allowing me to purchase my small but comfortable apartment after years of saving. Everything seemed perfect, until that beach trip for our anniversary. What started as a romantic getaway turned into the beginning of the end, when she first mentioned wanting a beach house of her own. I never imagined her casual comment would escalate into an ultimatum that would change everything. Before I tell you how her dream of a beach house turned into my nightmare, drop a comment letting me know where you are watching from, and hit that like and subscribe button to support my journey of reclaiming my self-worth. I grew up in a middle-class family in suburban Pennsylvania. My parents instilled in me the importance of hard work, financial responsibility, and living within my means. From my first paper route at 12 to mowing lawns throughout high school, I learned the value of earning my own way. After college, I landed a job as a software engineer at a growing tech company in Boston. The pay was good, the work challenging but rewarding. For 5 years, I lived modestly, putting away as much as I could toward my goal of homeownership. When I finally saved enough for a down payment, I bought a 2-bedroom apartment in a nice neighborhood. It was not luxury by any means, but it was mine, and I felt immense pride in what I had accomplished through discipline and patience. My financial philosophy remained consistent: avoid debt when possible, save before spending, and plan carefully for major purchases. I maintained a detailed budget and had clear timelines for future goals like retirement savings and eventually upgrading to a larger home. This approach had served me well, bringing stability and peace of mind. I met Amanda at a housewarming party hosted by our mutual friend Jackson. She walked in, wearing a blue dress that matched her eyes, her laughter filling the room before I even saw her face. Jackson introduced us, mentioning she worked as a stylist for an upscale fashion magazine. We clicked immediately, talking until the party wound down around us. Our early dates were magical. We explored hidden restaurants in Boston, spent Sundays at museums, and took spontaneous day trips to nearby towns. Amanda brought color and excitement to my structured life. She was creative, passionate, and seemed to appreciate my stability and reliability. After 10 months of dating, when my lease was up for renewal, I asked Amanda to move in with me. She seemed thrilled by the idea, and those first months of cohabitation were blissful. We cooked elaborate dinners together, hosted game nights with friends, and spent lazy Sunday mornings reading in bed. I thought we were perfectly aligned in our values and vision for the future. The first subtle changes appeared about 3 months after she moved in. Amanda began making casual remarks about the size of our apartment. "Do not you think the living room feels cramped when we have more than 4 people over?" she asked one evening after hosting dinner. I shrugged it off. "Maybe a bit, but it is cozy. And it is just the 2 of us, most of the time." A week later, after visiting her colleague Danielle and her husband in their newly purchased brownstone, Amanda was quieter than usual on the ride home. "Everything okay?" I asked. "Danielle is 2 years younger than me," she said softly. "And they already have their forever home." I reached for her hand. "We will get there too. I am saving consistently. Give it time." She smiled, but something felt off. I ignored the uneasy feeling in my stomach. Over the next few months, Amanda began buying expensive decorative items for the apartment. A $600 crystal vase, throw pillows that cost more than my first car payment, custom artwork for walls she suddenly deemed too bare. "Do not you think we should discuss big purchases?" First, I suggested carefully after a particularly expensive designer lamp arrived. "It is just home decor, Sebastian," she replied with a dismissive wave. "Our place should reflect our success. Besides, I use my own money." I knew she made significantly less than I did and wondered how she was affording these purchases, but I did not want to seem controlling. Maybe her magazine paid better than I thought, or perhaps she had savings I did not know about. I told myself these were just different spending styles, not fundamental differences in values. When she suggested remodeling the kitchen, though, I had to put my foot down. "That is a major expense, and this is a rental," I reminded her. She sulked for days afterward, scrolling through interior design accounts on social media and sighing loudly. Something was changing, but I convinced myself it was just a phase. I was completely unprepared for what would come next. For our 2-year anniversary, I wanted to do something special. I had been saving for months, setting aside a little from each paycheck. I booked a week-long stay at a small beachfront cottage in Cape Cod. It was not lavish, but it was charming, with a deck overlooking the water and a small private path to the beach. When I showed Amanda pictures of the rental, her eyes lit up. "It looks amazing, babe. I cannot wait." The first few days were everything I had hoped for. We woke to the sound of waves, had breakfast on the deck, and spent hours walking along the shoreline. Amanda seemed happier than she had been in months. She even left her phone behind during our beach walks, fully present in the moment with me. One evening we grabbed takeout from a local seafood place and ate on the deck as the sun set. I opened a bottle of wine, and we moved to the lounge chairs to stargaze. The night was perfect, warm, with a gentle breeze carrying the salt scent of the ocean. "I could get used to this," Amanda said, her voice dreamy, as she sipped her wine. "Imagine waking up to this view every day." I smiled. "It is pretty amazing. We should have a place like this," she continued, sitting up a bit straighter. "Not just a rental for a week, but our own beach house." Someday, I agreed. "It is definitely something to work toward." Amanda turned to face me, suddenly intense. "Why not sooner? You have a good job. Your investments are doing well. A beach house is a completely different level from my apartment," I explained. "We are talking hundreds of thousands, if not millions, depending on location. That is a long-term goal, maybe in 10 years or so." Her expression changed, hardening in a way I had never seen before. 10 years, I will be almost 40. Real estate like this is expensive, Amanda. It takes time to save for something this significant. Or you just need to think bigger, she countered. Take some risks. Use your apartment as collateral for a loan. That would be financially irresponsible, I said, shocked by the suggestion. I am not going to put my primary residence at risk. The magical evening evaporated. Amanda finished her wine in one long gulp and went inside without another word. For the rest of the trip, there was a tension between us that had never existed before. She still participated in our planned activities, but her enthusiasm had vanished, replaced by a cold politeness that felt worse than anger. Back home, I hoped things would return to normal, but Amanda seemed determined to make the beach house happen. She began sending me real estate listings several times a week. "Look at this one, Sebastian. 4 bedrooms right on the water. We could rent it out when we are not using it to help with the mortgage. This one needs some work, but it is a steal for the location. We should go see it this weekend." Every conversation about our future somehow circled back to the beach house. When I talked about wanting to advance at work, she immediately connected it to affording waterfront property. When I mentioned wanting to visit my parents for Christmas, she suggested we look at real estate in their area just for fun. Meanwhile, her comments about our apartment grew increasingly negative. "This place is so dark compared to that cottage. I feel so claustrophobic here, after experiencing beach living. Do not you feel like we are just wasting money on rent, when we could be building equity in a vacation property?" I tried repeatedly to explain my financial philosophy. I showed her spreadsheets detailing our current savings and projections. I outlined a reasonable timeline for larger property investments. But Amanda did not want to hear it. She would either tune out or get frustrated and walk away. Then one day I came home to find her sitting with a real estate agent at our dining table, papers spread everywhere. "Sebastian, this is Jordan," Amanda said brightly. "He has been showing me some incredible properties along the coast." I was blindsided. "You have been looking at houses without telling me." "Just preliminary research," she said dismissively. "Jordan thinks we could easily qualify for a mortgage with your income, and if we use your apartment as additional collateral." I felt my face grow hot. "I am not comfortable discussing our financial situation like this. Jordan, I am sorry, but I think there has been a misunderstanding." After the agent left, we had our first major argument. Amanda accused me of holding us back, of lacking vision and ambition. I tried to explain the reality of our financial situation, but she did not want to hear it. "Everyone takes on some debt to build the life they want," she insisted. "My parents did it. My friends are doing it. Why are you so afraid to invest in our happiness?" The argument ended without resolution. And for the first time since we moved in together, we slept apart, Amanda taking the couch in silent protest. After the fight about the real estate agent, things deteriorated rapidly. Amanda began staying out later than usual. When I asked about her day, her answers became vague and dismissive. I noticed her stepping out of rooms to take phone calls, her voice dropping to a whisper. At first, I convinced myself I was being paranoid. Maybe the beach house argument had made me oversensitive. But then I saw a text notification pop up on her phone while she was in the shower. Thomas cannot wait to show you the waterfront property tomorrow. Lunch after I had never heard of Thomas before. When I casually asked Amanda about her plans the next day, she said she had a work meeting followed by lunch with her colleague Sophia. The knot in my stomach tightened. I had never been the jealous type, had never even considered checking up on her before. But something felt deeply wrong. The next day I took an early lunch break and drove to the restaurant she had mentioned. I saw her immediately through the window sitting close to a man in an expensive suit. They were not discussing business. His hand rested on hers as they laughed together. I did not confront her. I drove back to work in a daze, trying to make sense of what I had seen. That night, I searched Thomas online and discovered he was not a colleague but a high-end real estate agent specializing in luxury beachfront properties. For the next week, I paid closer attention. Amanda was definitely seeing Thomas regularly, always with excuses about work meetings or shopping with friends. I overheard fragments of phone conversations. He just needs more convincing, and once we get the financing approved. The final confirmation came when I accidentally overheard her on the phone with her friend Zoe while I was supposed to be at a company happy hour that had ended early. The beach house plan is coming together, Amanda was saying. Sebastian is stubborn, but I know how to get what I want. Thomas says once we secure the property, we can always refinance or sell in a few years if things change. Zoe must have asked a question because Amanda laughed and continued. Of course Thomas is helpful. He knows there is a nice commission in it for him. Plus he is good company while Sebastian is being so boring and practical. Another pause. No, Sebastian has no idea about Thomas. He thinks I am at work events. My heart pounded as I quietly retreated to the hallway, and then noisily re-entered the apartment as if I had just arrived home. Amanda quickly ended her call, greeting me with a false brightness that now seemed so obvious. 2 days later, she delivered her ultimatum. We were having dinner when she casually dropped the bomb. I found the perfect beach house, she announced. 3 bedrooms, private beach access, recently renovated kitchen. The owner is motivated to sell. Amanda, we have discussed this, I began wearily. She cut me off. I am tired of discussing. I am ready for action. This is the life I want, Sebastian. Either you make this happen, or I need to reconsider whether we have a future together. I stared at her, stunned. Are you serious right now? You are threatening to leave me if I do not buy you a beach house. I am telling you what I need to be happy, she said coolly. I know you can make this work financially. Talk to your parents about a loan. Use your apartment as collateral. There are options if you actually care about our future. This is not about caring, I said, my voice rising despite my efforts to stay calm. This is about making responsible decisions. We cannot afford a beach house right now. Cannot or will not, she challenged. Because if it is, will not, you should know. I have other options. People who understand my worth and what I deserve. The implication hung in the air between us. I pushed my plate away suddenly, not hungry. I need some air, I said, standing up. We will talk about this when I get back. I walked for hours that night, trying to process what was happening. The woman I loved had essentially threatened to cheat on me or leave me if I did not make a financially ruinous decision to buy her a luxury property. How had we gotten here? And who was this person I had been living with? When I returned home, Amanda was already asleep or pretending to be. I spent the night on the couch, my mind racing with what to do next. By morning, I had a plan. I waited 3 days before making my move days, in which Amanda alternated between cold silence and renewed pressure about the beach house. Meanwhile, I conducted my own investigation. First, I checked our shared expenses. Amanda had been steadily withdrawing large sums for what she claimed were work expenses and personal shopping. The amounts did not align with her usual spending, even accounting for her recent extravagance. Next, I discreetly contacted a friend who worked at a credit bureau. He could not give me details of her credit report, but he hinted that someone with her name and address had accumulated significant credit card debt in the past year, nearly $30,000. I also researched Thomas more thoroughly. Social media revealed he had a pattern of close relationships with wealthy female clients, several of whom had gone through messy divorces or breakups shortly after purchasing properties through him. In one photo, I even spotted Amanda in the background of a real estate office event from 3 months ago, though she had told me she was at a work conference that weekend. The final piece fell into place when Amanda left her laptop open while she took a shower. Against everything I believed about privacy and relationships, I looked at her email. There I found correspondence between her and Thomas discussing not just the beach house, but plans to upgrade to a more ambitious partner after securing the property. There were also emails with her friend Zoe about using me as a stepping stone to the lifestyle she believed she deserved. Everything became crystal clear. I contacted a lawyer friend who confirmed that since the apartment was entirely in my name and Amanda had not contributed to the mortgage, she had no legal claim to it. I also learned that our state did not recognize common law marriages, so after 2 years of cohabitation, she had no claim to my other assets either. The day of confrontation arrived, when Amanda texted that she had scheduled a viewing of the beach house for the weekend and expected me to come with my checkbook ready. I replied that we needed to talk when she got home. I spent the day preparing. I gathered her belongings from around the apartment, not packing them yet, but taking inventory. I changed all my passwords and transferred money from our barely used joint account back to my personal account. I contacted our landlord to confirm that only my name was on the lease. I was ready. When Amanda arrived home that evening, she seemed confident, almost smug. She probably thought her ultimatum was working, that I was ready to cave. "I am glad you want to talk," she said, setting down her shopping bags. "The beach house viewing is at 10 on Saturday. The owner is motivated, so if we like it, we should be prepared to make an offer immediately. I will not be going to any house viewing," I replied calmly. Her face hardened. "We discussed this, Sebastian. If you are not serious about our future, I am serious about my future," I interrupted. "That is why I am ending this relationship." Amanda laughed in disbelief. "You are breaking up with me over a beach house." "No," I said, standing my ground. "I am breaking up with you because of your dishonesty, manipulation, and the fact that you have been seeing Thomas behind my back while plotting to use my finances to buy a property I cannot afford." Her face went pale. "What are you talking about? Please do not insult my intelligence further," I said, showing her printouts of the emails I had found. "You and Thomas have been planning this for months. You thought I was too trusting, or too stupid to figure it out." She shifted tactics immediately, tears filling her eyes. "Sebastian, this is not what it looks like. Thomas is just a friend helping me surprise you. I wanted to find the perfect property to motivate you." "Stop lying," I said quietly. "It is over, Amanda. I have already started packing your things." Her tears vanished as quickly as they had appeared. "You cannot kick me out. I live here too. I have rights." "Actually, you do not," I explained. "Your name is not on the lease or mortgage. Legally, you are just a guest I can ask to leave at any time. I have confirmed this with both the landlord and a lawyer." Amanda's face contorted with rage. "You underhanded calculating." I was thorough, I corrected her. "Something you counted on me not being. Now you have two choices. You can leave voluntarily with your belongings today, or I can begin formal eviction proceedings tomorrow morning." For a moment, I thought she might physically attack me. Then abruptly, her demeanor changed again. "You will regret this," she said, her voice suddenly soft. "No one will ever love you like I do, Sebastian. We can work through this. I made a mistake getting involved with Thomas, but it was only because I wanted a better life for us. For you, I corrected. Not for us. And my mind is made up." I walked to the bedroom and returned with 2 large suitcases. "I have already sorted most of your clothes. The rest of your belongings are in the guest room. I will help you pack if you want." Amanda stared at the suitcases, the reality of the situation finally sinking in. "Where am I supposed to go?" "That is not my concern anymore," I replied. "Perhaps Thomas has room at his place since you two seem so close." To my surprise, she did not argue further. She silently began packing, occasionally shooting venomous glares my way. I maintained my composure, helping to box up her numerous possessions without comment. 3 hours later, her car was loaded with as much as it could hold. She would need to return for the rest, but the essential break had been made. As she stood by her car for the final time, keys in hand, Amanda tried one last approach. "This is not who you are, Sebastian. You are not this cold. Call me when you calm down, and we can talk like adults." I just shook my head. "Goodbye, Amanda. I will leave the rest of your things with the building manager. Please coordinate with them for pickup." I turned and walked back inside without waiting for her response. As I closed the door, I heard her car engine start, and then the sound of tires squealing as she drove away. It was over. I was free. And despite the emptiness of my apartment, I felt lighter than I had in months. The silence in my apartment was deafening that first night. I had grown accustomed to Amanda's constant presence, the sound of her voice, even her complaints. Now there was just the hum of the refrigerator and the occasional car passing outside. I did not sleep much. My mind kept replaying warning signs I had missed, red flags I had ignored. How had I not seen her true nature earlier? How had I allowed myself to be so thoroughly deceived? The next morning my phone was flooded with texts and voicemails from Amanda. They ranged from apologetic to threatening, from loving to venomous. I read and listened to each one, then blocked her number without responding. I did the same on social media and email. A clean break was the only way forward. My friend Jack came over that evening with pizza and beer. He had been the one person I had confided in during my investigation of Amanda's deception. "How are you holding up?" he asked, handing me a slice. "Better than expected," I admitted. "I feel relieved mostly. And stupid." "Do not do that," Jack said firmly. "She was manipulative and dishonest. That is on her, not you. But I should have seen it coming. The signs were there. Hindsight is always clearer," he shrugged. "What matters is you caught on before making a huge financial mistake." He was right, of course. As painful as the breakup was, it would have been infinitely worse if I had actually purchased property with Amanda. I had dodged a bullet, even if it did not feel that way yet. Over the next few weeks, I focused on reclaiming my space. I rearranged furniture, donated items that reminded me too much of Amanda, and invested in a few new pieces that were entirely my taste. The apartment slowly transformed from a place of painful memories to a sanctuary of my own creation. Work became another refuge. I threw myself into a challenging new project, working long hours that kept my mind occupied. My boss noticed my increased productivity and hinted at a potential promotion if I maintained this level of performance. "Whatever is driving you, keep it up," he said during our monthly one-on-one meeting. When I was not working, I explored new interests that Amanda had never shared. I joined a local hiking group, rediscovering my love for the outdoors. I took cooking classes, learning to make dishes more complicated than the simple meals Amanda had always criticized. I reconnected with old friends who had gradually disappeared from my life during the relationship. One of those friends, Michael, invited me to volunteer with him at a community center teaching coding to underprivileged teenagers. The experience was rewarding in ways I had not anticipated. Seeing the students' eyes light up when they grasped a difficult concept gave me a sense of purpose that had been missing. "You are good at this," Michael commented after our third session. "The kids respond to you." "I enjoy it," I replied, surprised to realize how true that was. "It feels meaningful." Months passed, and the sharp pain of betrayal gradually dulled to an occasional twinge. I still had moments of anger and hurt, usually triggered by unexpected reminders of Amanda, finding one of her earrings under the couch. A restaurant we had frequented. The beach, especially the beach, which now carried complicated associations. 6 months after the breakup, I decided it was time to reclaim that particular joy. I booked a weekend at a different beach a few hours north of the Cape Cod rental, where everything had fallen apart. I invited Jack and Michael to join me, turning what could have been a melancholy trip into a celebration of friendship. Standing on the shore that first evening, watching the sun sink below the horizon, I felt a profound sense of peace. The ocean had not been ruined for me after all. The vastness of it, the constant rhythm of the waves, the salty air, all of it still spoke to something deep within me. Beer Jack appeared at my side, holding out a bottle. "Thanks," I said, accepting it gratefully. "Penny for your thoughts." I took a swig before answering. "I was just thinking that someday, when the time is right, I might still want a place by the water. But on my terms, within my means, with someone who values me more than property." Jack clinked his bottle against mine. "To future beach houses earned honestly and shared with people who deserve them." As we watched the last light fade from the sky, I realized the most important lesson from my experience with Amanda. It was not about being more cautious or less trusting, though those were valuable takeaways. It was about honoring my own values and boundaries, regardless of pressure from others. It was about recognizing that true love enhances your principles rather than undermining them. I had lost someone who did not truly love me, but in the process, I had found a stronger version of myself, one who could say no when necessary, one who recognized manipulation tactics, one who valued authenticity over appearances. The journey of healing had not been easy or straightforward. There had been nights of doubt and days of anger. There had been moments when loneliness felt preferable to betrayal. But standing there on the beach with genuine friends beside me, I knew with certainty that I had made the right choice. The ocean stretched before me, vast and full of possibilities, much like my future, now that I had removed the constraints of a toxic relationship. Whatever came next, I would face it with clearer eyes and a stronger sense of self. And that ultimately was worth more than any beach house could ever be. Have you ever had to make the difficult choice between pleasing someone else and staying true to your values? Share your experience in the comments below. I would love to know how you handled a situation where someone tried to pressure you into something that went against your principles. If this story resonated with you, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more real-life experiences and lessons learned. Share this video with anyone who might need a reminder that it is okay to stand up for yourself and your financial well-being. Thank you for listening to my story, and remember, sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to walk away.